Jabbari Smith unlocks the fun of history for Auburn. Kevin Durant is the most common comparison for Jabbari Smith, but maybe even that lofty praise is underplaying the ability of Auburn's freshman superstar. That's crazy talk, right? Blasphemy and wildly hyperbolic. Well, maybe not. On Wednesday night, Smith made 7 3-pointers on 10 attempts in the Tigers' 94-80 victory against Vanderbilt. It was a stunning performance from a 6'10" forward like this game has rarely seen. In Durant's one season at Texas, the future All-NBA player never made more than 6 3-pointers in a game. Durant, who was listed at 6'9" in college, hit that mark once during the 2006 to 2007 college basketball season, and it came in Texas' regular season finale at Kansas. The Longhorns lost that game, for the record, and then lost to Kansas again in the Big 12 tournament despite Durant filling it up for 37 points. Texas was later bounced out of the NCAA tournament in the second round by Southern Cal. Related, Wendell Green Jr. answers the call against Vanderbilt. Related, Auburn basketball fans are peacocking through history. Goodman, some suffered more than most on Super Bowl Sunday. Not to make anyone feel dated, but Smith was 3 years old. He grew into a game that freakish bigs like Durant, Dirk Nowitzki and Chris Bosh helped create, and now Smith, with a twinkle and grin against Vanderbilt, is beginning to blossom into a new generation of basketball royalty. He couldn't miss against the Commodores, and at one point Smith could only shake his smile at his own skill. When did Auburn coach Bruce Pearl give Smith the green light from 3-point range? Preseason. No, said Pearl on Thursday. He got the green light when I was recruiting him. Pearl sold Smith on developing into a two-way player like former Auburn great Chuma Okeke, who soared up NBA draft boards in 2019 thanks to his all-around play in the SEC and NCAA tournaments. Auburn's coach can't take credit for all of Smith's development because most of that is thanks to Smith's father, but Pearl's incubator, like we've seen before with others, has facilitated Smith's two-way growth. Against Vanderbilt, there were 15 NBA scouts there to witness it, and what they saw was a glimpse of what he can become. It's his natural progression. Smith's defensive effort early in the game unlocked his offensive potential and elevated it to a different level, a level reserved for unique greatness. For Pearl, the key will now be keeping Auburn's offense balanced for a run through March. Auburn's coach emphasized shot selection on Thursday and taking the what defense gives us. Make no mistake, though, Smith is taking everything he wants with only a handful of games remaining until the SEC tournament in Tampa. Was I screaming at my television, give it to 10, please, during the second half against Vanderbilt? A better question is, who wasn't? What's almost unbelievable is that this is all happening at Auburn, and that Auburn's raucous, nightly bacchanalia of basketball is not only worthy of Smith's talent but rather the perfect stage for such an ascendant prince. Durant, famously, was not the first pick in the 2006 NBA draft. All these years later, I can't imagine a team making that mistake with Smith. We are witnessing historic greatness every night with this Auburn basketball team, which plays on the road at Florida on Saturday, and if you miss a game at this point in the season then don't bother calling yourself a fan of college sports. This is all-time, once-in-a-generation brilliance, and every moment should be cherished. Smith is Cam Newton and Bo Jackson special for Auburn, but maybe projects even better than those two as a future pro. With a 2-game lead on Kentucky in the SEC standings and 5 games to go in the regular season, the number 2 ranked Tigers are 24-2 overall, 12-1 in conference play and somehow still showing us that they can get better. They'll need to be against Florida. Auburn hasn't won in Gainesville since 1996. We need to win if we're going to win the SEC, Pearl said. It's tough for even the best in the SEC to win conference games on the road, but if any team can close out this regular season title with an exclamation point, then it's these Tigers. Auburn's 2 losses this season were in overtime, and it's hard to see them ever getting blown out and not having a chance late in games. Smith is the most talented player in college basketball, and he played the best game of his fleeting college career against Vanderbilt. It's impossible to be that great every night, but here's why Auburn is so good and so much more than a team with a potential All-NBA player. In 2007, torn between the old NBA and the new, the Portland Trail Blazers drafted Ohio State center Greg Oden number 1 overall instead of Durant. Oden fit the mold of a traditional, old-school center, and Durant was the future of the league. It was a historic draft day blunder. The best center in college basketball this season is Smith's paint mate, Walker Kessler. Only 2 home games remain for the country's most dominant frontcourt, and suddenly I am more than a little sad. Like a runaway score in Auburn Arena, it is all happening so fast. Joseph Goodman is a columnist for the Alabama Media Group and author of We Want Bama, A Season of Hope and the Making of Nick Saban's Ultimate Team. You can find him on Twitter at Joe Goodman Jr.